Jeremy, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. So let's go ahead and do some introductions and get started.
Okay. Well, I'm Lori Bell, and I am so excited about this course. Jeremy and I taught this for the first time last spring, and we each have really different backgrounds but some similar interests, so I always learn a lot when I work with him. And this fall is my first semester, 80% with San Jose teaching. I'm also teaching a class at a couple other places, but San Jose is my main job now. So I'm excited to be here. I'm teaching 2 sections of management and this, and then also a social networking class that Meredith Farkas designed, and it filled up very quickly and had 22 on the waiting list, so they opened another section of that. I have all kinds of library experience in different settings. I'm kind of a, if you would liken me to a dog, I would be one of many types from the pound, because I've had a lot of different experiences. I've been a reference librarian in a public library, in a medical library, a large hospital library. I had a short experience in an academic library, and I found it just, the community college setting just wasn't for me. Most recently, I worked in Alliance Library System as Director of Innovation, and I wrote grants and managed collaborative projects. I've also worked for a number of years with Talking Books for the visually impaired, and I've even been a children's librarian. So I'm glad to be here, and I'll turn it over to Jeremy for his introduction.
Thanks a lot, Lori. It is a great honor to work with Lori. We've known each other, I think, going on 4 years now, right? 2006, yeah? So I've been at San Jose State 4 years. I've been at San Jose State itself for 9 years, and SLIS for 4 years, I should say. I have master's degrees in journalism and education, and just finished a doctorate in education. Gosh, I've been involved in the libraries as a patron for a long, long time. I've never worked in one. So this course is split in 2 by date. Lori is in charge of the first half of the course until mid-October, and then I'm taking over the second half of the course. So now's a good opportunity for us to talk about you guys. Let me go to the next page here and pull out a map. I want to do a couple of whiteboard exercises with you. I want to, first off, let's go ahead and have you introduce yourselves here in Illuminate, and then also use the tools up here on the top left to tell us where you are. So I'll go first. Here I am in sunny San Jose, right there. So Agnes or Alexandra, do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves? Tell us who you are and what you want to learn in the course, and maybe something fun about yourself too.
I should say too, Anne Marie, does this sound better? I'm located in central Illinois, and I'm teaching from home. I'm located about 30 miles west of Peoria, which is about 3 hours south of Chicago, so it's after 8 p.m. here too.
You can all see Alexandra Drew over here in the far right. And she says, I usually go to Long Island University, and this is my last year in the MLIS program, but I'm excited to be here. Why don't we work from the bottom? Shannon, do you want to go ahead and use your mic or text chat and tell us a little bit about yourself, what you want to get from the course, and use the drawing tools to show us where you are.
Okay, my name is Shannon Meany. I'm here actually in Mountain View, California. Moved to the Bay Area 2 years ago. I used to work at UCSD. Before that, I have worked in the library since 1992. The most memorable library I've worked out of all of them has been the Oceanography Library at UCSD. I am in Mountain View. Let's see if I can put that on here. Right here, San Jose. That was UCSD in San Diego. I worked in academic, community college, public, oceanography, medical, and social science libraries. And I'm happy to be here because I work in a primarily digital environment in Stanford. I'm the head of circulation, Philly Medical Library, and I just want to get a better grasp on how to use emerging technologies in my current position.
That's right. We had a discussion, a little brief discussion in the forum that I did my graduate research work, mostly slogging away in that library. So it's great to have you.
Thank you. And also our med students just got the first year med students got iPads this year. So there's going to be a lot of questions involving that this year. So I'm really excited for this course.
Yeah, it's really ironic. Steven Silver, who's the account executive for higher education in the Western region of Apple, just walked in my office today, and I pointed that out. I said we had a student who works over in the medical school, and they're giving. He said you had something like 90 medical students who are getting the iPad, and they get it right in there. The way he put it is they put on their lab coat and they slip that iPad in their pocket.
Yes, and they're already asking questions how to download all the apps onto it. So. There's a lot of kinks and surprises that are coming our way, but it'll be an exciting journey for us. And since I'm on the front lines, I supervise 6 staff at the service desk there. I will be having to troubleshoot, so it's quite exciting. It's a good learning experience.
And you guys did a medical. No, you did a magazine application for the iPad when it first came out. I believe it was the medical school's public affairs group. And this is me looking at the iPad app that you guys made. I don't know how closely, probably not very closely related to where you work, but I believe it was the Stanford Medical School's public affairs group created this magazine.
Cool, I'll take a look at it. Thanks.
Kristen, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. No. Oh, am I on? Hi, I'm Kristen, and I have an undergraduate degree from Arizona State and a graduate degree from University of Oregon in medieval Chinese literature, which really comes in handy when you're working at the public library. And I'm glad finally to be working on a master's degree in something in English, where I don't have to translate things from medieval Chinese anymore. I'm here to learn about the latest technology for the public library because everybody is anxious to learn about that, and I'm on this committee where we're going to be redesigning our website with all the bells and whistles, so I'm really looking forward to this class, and I'm going to try to draw myself in San Diego now. I work for the San Diego Public Library. Here you go.
Oh, that's very cool. How about Jen? So Jen's in Berkeley, and she says she left her headset at home. She has a full-time case manager, a social worker in Berkeley, and she moves at a snail's pace in the MLIS classes, taking 1 class a semester. And she has a master's in social welfare from UC Berkeley. How about Erica?
Hi, everybody. My name's Erica, and I am also in the Eastern time zone, so it's about 9 o'clock here. I'm in Connecticut in East Hartford, and I am in the MLS program at Simmons in the Mount Holyoke campus in Massachusetts. And I actually originally started in education as well. I used to be a teacher, and then I worked in central office. And currently I'm working at a community foundation, which is very lacking in the technology side. So I'm hoping to get a little more up to speed, and I think this class will be really very relevant for what I'm doing now and hopefully a future career in libraries. So I'm happy to be here.
Working our way up from the bottom, Diane.
Hi, everybody. My name's Diane Malmstrom, and I'm actually working right now at the King Library on the San Jose State University campus. So I'm on campus with Jeremy. Thanks, Jen. I've been actually working there since we opened the new library, and I work in acquisitions. I handle mainly electronic databases, so I work with purchasing new ones when we have funding and renewing them yearly. So I work with a lot of the invoices and work with the vendors. And I'm really excited for this class. As a library in general, we are looking for emerging technologies to help our students, and we realize that it's kind of a changing time for libraries, and students are using the iPads and apps, and they want answers fairly quickly, and it's just, I'm really happy to be in this flex of where libraries are working towards this. So I'm going to see if I can oh, this is a huge dot. I don't know if I can get that on there. Let me see. But I'm right the same place that Jeremy is. I'm happy to be here.
We heard a little bit of sound there, Diane. Looks like you turned your mic on and off. So Anne-Marie or Alexandra or Agnes, I think Agnes and Alexandra don't have mics with them, but Anne-Marie?
Agnes, do you want to go ahead? You said your mic's working now.
If you guys can give me like a smiley face if you can hear me. I've been having problems with my laptop lately. Okay, so you can. I only have 2, but let me know if I can proceed. All right, well, thank you. My name is Agnes, and I live in Southern California. I live in Temecula. I work in Wildomar. It's a small library. Wildomar is one of the newly incorporated cities in Riverside County. And one of the reasons why I chose to take this course is because I'm not really familiar with Web 3.0. I do know something about Web 2.0. I have like most of the gadgets, but I would like to learn more. In a public library setting, in a small town community, technology isn't really that fast-paced, unlike if you're in a bigger library or an urban library or maybe a metropolitan library where everybody knows what's the gadgets and whatnot. Here we have computer classes that teach people how to use maps and how to open a Word document. So this is kind of like a course that I'm trying to see if maybe I can inject some more not Web 3.0, but more maybe if I can help our library customers or patrons with the new emerging technologies. Thank you.
Anne-Marie, do you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie, and I think I will probably have taken every one of Jeremy Kemp's classes by the time I graduate. So I think that's probably something interesting about me, and watched his progression into a multimedia icon. from his early YouTube days to probably his manifestation into a bubble tweet. I, like Shannon and Jeremy, live and breathe on Stanford campus. I did my undergraduate degrees, multiple degrees there, and spent 2 years in the Culture and Emotion Lab studying affect evaluation. I was a photojournalist for 5.5 years, and am returning to journalism as a database journalist. Affect evaluation, or affect valuation, meaning how we value emotions, comparing Asian Americans and Caucasians. And basically, if you've ever seen the television show Lie to Me, the whole concept of microexpressions, I spent 2 years studying that, which helped me on a 3-year special project looking at wrongful convictions in 700 court cases in Santa Clara County. I work for the Mercury News, and as a result of doing so, I was able to photograph different facial expressions, which helped set one man free and get another one $4.5 million. Ricky Walker, you can Google that. But yes, I learned microexpressions from Paul Ekman, so that's another interesting fact. So yes, database journalism, and the semantic web plays into that, and my newest hobby is playing with DevonThink, which is an artificial intelligence database. Thank you.
Do you have anything else to add, Lori? I wanted to do one more whiteboard exercise, and then I'll pass it over.
Did Christian want to give an introduction?
Yeah, hi. My name is Christian. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and this is my 4th semester in the program. And I was particularly interested in taking this course because, with the emerging technologies, because it's a field that's moving quite quickly, I wanted to take this course to kind of sort of keep abreast of those trends, so that when I'm actually in the field, then I'll have the best possible, and broadest range of understanding of how the library field is evolving.
Okay, I wanted to do a quick exercise. Like you say, the library field, and this field in particular, is evolving so rapidly. We want to give you as individualized a course as we possibly can. And what I found is very useful is to take the course description and have everybody highlight the areas that they really want to focus on in the class, and then we can see visually some of the patterns that come out here. So go ahead and use the marker, the highlighter tool over here, and you can change colors too if you want to go green or blue or red, and mark the areas that you are particularly interested in having us review. Okay, so I'm seeing a couple of areas of overlap here. API case studies, then challenge, user-generated content, a couple on podcasting. Did anybody else see double hits here? Okay, great. Thank you very much. So with that, I'll pass it to Lori.
Okay. First of all, this course is a little bit different than others you're taking or have taken, but we found that the students this spring really kind of enjoyed that. I'm going to be your instructor for Seminar 1, which has already started and will continue through October 19th. So I'm going to talk about what we're going to cover, the various assignments, and then Jeremy will talk about Seminar 2. He will be your primary instructor for that. So for Seminar 1, we're going to talk about a web as a platform and service. We've got 3 different time periods. August 25th through September 14th, we're going to talk about 2.0 to 3.0 foundations and transitions. September 14th to 28th, the social web. And then September 28th to October 19th, virtual environments and gaming. So the first assignment that you'll be doing in Seminar 1, we've divided you into teams, and we have the team list in Angel. And so there will be two teams. And Team 1 for Seminar 1 will participate in the discussion, and Team 2 will lead the discussion, post questions, and keep the discussion going. And then when Jeremy takes over, those roles will switch. So the discussion, we've got 3 time periods and categories, and so with each of those, we've got a discussion forum, and to get the full 15 points as a discussion participant, you need to contribute 2 to 3 posts a week, and then this is just a, and gives you a guideline. Your post should be 5 to 10 sentences long. If they're not 5 sentences, they tend to lack detail, although, if you're just saying you agree with someone or you want to support something someone's saying, your post may not be that long, but you do need to make 2 to 3 per week with this 5 to 10 sentences. If it's longer than that, you might want to divide it or edit it to maintain interest. Also, we don't expect you to write a whole essay on the discussion board. When possible, if you use bulleted lists or other things that make your ideas easy to digest, that's a good idea. And use your own work experiences, the readings. If you talk to someone at your workplace, you can use all kinds of things in here in the discussion. So we've got 3 discussion boards set up for the first seminar. And on Thursday morning, we will start the discussion for wanted to go back one slide. On Thursday morning, I will post a couple questions in the August 25th to September 14th discussion board to kind of get things going and give you a chance to do some of the readings. And the readings are not required. The readings are ideas of different things you can read on a topic that will help you participate in the discussion. You're also welcome to find other readings on a topic and refer to those and share those with your classmates. Then September 14th, we'll start discussion board 2 on the social web. And again, I'll try to kick off the discussion with some questions to give the facilitators time to work on questions. And then September 28th to October 19th, virtual environments and gaming. And again, I'll put on some questions to get the discussion going. And so the facilitators, as a team, you may want to work together to come up with questions and you know, make sure that everybody posts and keep things going. And at the end of discussion, the facilitators should kind of summarize the topic and maybe the opinions on that topic. So around September 13th or 14th, you'll want to, you know, do a summary of that. Around the 27th or 28th of September, a summary around the social web. And then the same October 18th and 19th on virtual environments and gaming. And, you know, it's up to your team to decide if you want to do it as a team or if each of you as facilitators is each just going to post a couple questions a week and then post summaries and things. You can do it either way. In the spring, we had the teams do it 2 different ways. If you decide to do it as a group, let me know, because then your whole group will get the same score no matter, you know, how many posts or questions or summaries you did. If you're doing it individually, that's okay too. And again, just let me know so I know to grade individually. So before we go on, do you have any questions? I will be grading the discussions you know, in mid-October toward the end of Seminar 1, and the whole discussion, for, you know, the 3 discussion boards is worth 15 points. And I'll be kind of keeping track as we go, and if it looks like you're not posting enough, I'll give you some feedback on that or try and help you. And again, 2 to 3 posts a week, and discussion facilitators, 2 to 3 questions or responses a week. Any questions so far about the discussion forums? Okay, these are just some tips for discussion facilitation, and I hope they'll help you. By Wednesday of each week, try and get some questions up for people that will, you know, get some discussion going. Try to read the comments daily and post or respond daily. Don't dominate, facilitate, and you know, encourage the flow. Don't discourage the flow unless somebody's getting off topic. Part of facilitating is asking follow-up questions, comparing and contrasting colleagues' ideas, and, you know, connecting any course readings or assignments to ideas. You could also post a citation of a resource that's related to the week's readings that you would recommend. And, you know, you can recommend articles, book chapters, books, websites, any kind of resources you want. So again, I'll try to help you at the beginning of each discussion forum to get the conversation started, and then it's up to the facilitators to do that. So any questions? Okay, and Jeremy was good enough to put this slide in. Under orientation, the team rosters are listed there. And thanks, Jeremy, that way they don't have to go trying to find that. Okay, the second part of Seminar 1 is a collection assignment. And this is a little bit different than other assignments you may have had. Team 1 will, each individual on Team 1 will be putting together 5 resources with annotations on topics included in the seminar. And again, you know, you have those 3 topics, those 3 discussion boards. And tomorrow or Thursday, I'll send out some examples of really good resource annotations. And so I've emailed each of you an invitation to PBWorks, which used to be PBWiki. And you'll be posting your collection to the PBWiki site. And so you'll be choosing 1 academic journal article, 1 website, 1 social media site, a wiki, blog, image collection, and 2 additional resources, videos, PowerPoint, newspaper, magazine, podcast. And we'll have an example and a collection template you can use. So between now and September 21st, your job, Team 1, will be choosing 5 resources for a collection and doing a detailed annotation on those 5 resources. Then, and that will be worth 15 points, 15% of the grade. So on September 21st, each member of Team 1 will have a list of 5 resources, citations that they've put on the wiki. The Team 2 members will take those resources and create a wiki resource page with those that Team 1 does. And so Team 1 needs to do their citations by September 21st, and September 28th, Team 2 needs to put those together as a curated list. So Team 2, you will probably, you know, want to get together and discuss how you want to do that, how you want to organize things. And that will be due September 28th. And so Team 1, you know, it's going to be 3 points per citation. And Team 2, it's going to be 15 points for the curated collection that then we'll be able to share. So that's a little bit different than your other courses, and I'll be sharing good examples of those so you feel comfortable and you know exactly what's expected. So any questions about that? Okay, the third part of Seminar 1 is worth 20 points or 20% of the grade, and it's due October 19th. This is your chance to do some in-depth research and a look at an emerging technology or trend that's of interest to you. We'd like you to email your topic to both me and Jeremy by September 20th at noon. If you need help coming up with ideas, we'll be glad to brainstorm with you. And so you need to determine a library or information agency that you're familiar with and describe it, or describe an imaginary library that you want to design an emerging technology service for. And then you're the department head or library manager that wants to introduce this program into your organization. And so you're going to write up an 8 to 10 page proposal noting things as the need for the service, the goals, how you'll make the project happen, what staffing you'll need, how you'll evaluate it, how you'll market it, the budgetary and technology requirements, and you will write a proposal as if you're, you know, writing a proposal to a board or to your advisory group or to your staff to start this new service. And you need to have 8 to 10 resources. These can be books, journal articles, websites, interviews, any of those things that you use. and you can do this individually or in a group. In the spring, we didn't have anybody that did it in a group. But if you want to do a group, please no more than 3 people, and you should run the topic and the proposal by me and Jeremy so we can give you guidelines as to what more would be expected with the group. So here are paper details that are on Angel. I don't know that we need to go through all of these things, but I'm hoping that this will help guide you in writing the paper, the different parts that you need to have, and you know what each section should be. So we'd like you to have all of these sections in your paper. You can identify them, or just as long as they're in the paper, that's fine too. The last thing I want to say about Seminar 1 is we're going to have a guest speaker on Tuesday, September 14th. Tom Peters, who's an adjunct faculty member at San Jose, also wrote an article in the November issue of Library Journal on the future of reading, and it's really especially timely with all the excitement and things going on with iPads and e-readers and e-books and mobile devices. Reading is really changing. It's not just a print book anymore. It's all kinds of things are reading that people may not have defined as reading. And again, this is not required, but hopefully will be a bonus to you to be able to hear, you know, a well-known author in the field. There will be a lecture for each of the 3 topics in the seminar, and I'll be adding those over the next week or 2, and they might be materials given, you know, a lecture by me that's recorded, or it might be materials that others have created that are really good. And the lectures are not required, but they're supplementary material to help you, you know, think of things and add to the discussion. There's also an opportunity for extra credit in the course. We did this in the spring, and we're going to do it again this fall. You can earn up to 3 points if you want to attend one of these Trendy Topics online conferences. And I have the web address there. September 14th is on Digital Reference. October 12th is Virtual Worlds. November 3rd is LIS Career Fair, and November 17th is Building a Virtual Library branch. So if you would want to attend, these are scheduled for a whole day. They start out at 8 a.m. Pacific and run through about 3 p.m. Pacific, and each program is about an hour. And if you would want to summarize, do show notes on a program that you attend and then share it in Angel, you can earn up to 3 extra credit points. And if you look at the website, we've got the program up for Digital Reference. We're working on the program for Virtual Worlds, and Jeremy Kemp is the keynote speaker for that. So all of these conferences are on, you know, exciting trends in the library field, and you can go for free. And as we take registrations, I'll send information to you about how to register and how to get a free registration. But those conferences are a chance to hear experts in the field on a given topic, and it's an honor to have Jeremy keynote the one on Virtual World. So that's an overview, and I hope this will help you. Do not hesitate to contact me through Angel or through my email. I will try to answer in 24 to 48 hours. If you don't hear from me in that time period, please contact me again. because I really will try to get back to you in that time period. Everybody's busy, and so if you have questions, I want to get back to you as soon as possible. And if you need to, you can call my cell phone. So any questions before I turn it over to Jeremy? I think it'll be a lot of fun and a great opportunity for you to, you know, go more in depth with a topic that's of real interest to you. And hopefully some of the people last spring who wrote proposals were able to use them then in their real library situation. So I hope that some of you can do the same. So Jeremy, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks a lot, Lori. I think the course seems like it's easier. It's more. I think it's really elegant, actually, the way that it's arranged. So, Team 1, the folks who will be taking more of a leadership role, Lori and I are leading the course, and we'll be bringing you lots of resources and facilitating discussion. But the leaders in Seminar 1 are Jessica, Miguel, Colleen, Heather, Bonnie, Joanna, Alicia, Kristen, Lorianne, and Marie. And then in number 2, the leaders are, so that's my seminar. Leaders will be Tina, Christian, Michelle, Shannon, Diane, Anna, Jennifer, Erica, Alexandra, Alicia, and Chelsea. And if I've missed anybody, then, oh, it's Anne-Marie McReynolds, sorry. It's not Anna. Then we can fix that list. So those are the folks who are going to be taking leadership roles in seminars 1 and 2. So the assignments are really parallel the kind of work that someone doing cutting-edge work in libraries and information science would be doing. Basically, we've just set up a classroom based upon what trendsetters and people focusing and specializing in emerging technology would really tackle. So, for instance, just trying to make a clear sense of this, the digital collections development piece is really you guys talking to each other. The leaders will put together the final piece, the final collection. So you are going to, one group is going to be gathering stuff really sort of unfiltered. The other group is going to be taking that and curating it. Then the other piece of discussion, obviously, is the participation, where you will go in. And the same people who are leading in the collections development in the seminar are going to be leading in the discussion. And that, I'll show you actually you can see the rubric in the course that describes how we'll assign points. Then there's a paper mirrored by a final presentation. I'll be working on the final presentation. Lori will be working on the papers. So really, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to be gathering stuff, curating stuff, writing a paper proposal, presenting a paper proposal, and doing the participation piece. And then in the interim, sort of a sidelight, a really interesting opportunity that Lori has for you to be involved in a real conference on these topics. And you can get deeply involved in that, or just attend, and she's written up the extra credit exercises. But last term, or spring term, we had some folks that got really involved and were very instrumental in getting that conference running, and it was a great experience. People were very enthusiastic. So my seminar 2, starts on October the 19th. Now there are 4 formal events, live events for all y'all. There's August 31st today, Seminar 1 opens. My seminar opens, I'm sorry, 5. My seminar opens October 19th. So on October 19th, I'll be giving a very similar talk to what Lori's just given, except on Seminar 2. Then I have my speaker on November the 9th at 6 p.m., also in Illuminate. And finally, sort of an ad hoc set of presentations are November 30th through the 7th, December 7th. And the reason those aren't scheduled is I want to get closer to those dates and then give all of you options. I've never had anybody who had any problems speaking because I'm extremely flexible, and I will survey you a couple of weeks before that period comes about. So everybody will get in exactly the time that they want to get based upon surveys. I use a tool called Doodle, DOODLE.com. So not only have you guys given your survey responses before the term starts, as the term progresses, as we get closer to that, November 30th through the 7th, I will survey you again and make sure that everybody has a time that's not uncomfortable for them. And I know the East Coasters often have some issues with later times, and so we're going to give you a lot of opportunity, a lot of options in that area. So I hope I didn't confuse anybody with this piece. Does anybody have any questions about this crucial piece, the 100-point, how you get a grade in this course? Okay, then let me give you a brief overview of an exemplary, yes, Janet, it will. Let me give you a brief overview of an exemplary presentation from spring. So your presentation, I hate to give concrete examples because people tend to sort of copy that example too closely. So if you see something in the next 20 slides that aren't in the assignment, then just ignore them. Or if you want to do something different, we're very flexible, obviously. So this was a presentation, a proposal for Overdrive, getting Overdrive into the library and offering ebooks and mobile downloads. So the student, this is completely hypothetical, the student talked about having phases of implementation for the Overdrive digital media service. So what you're seeing here are slides from the final presentation. These were not represented in the paper, so the paper was text. This was the slide version of her presentation, which she gave over a 10-minute period at the end of the term. She talked about the demographics of the area. She talked about a needs assessment. She talked about the current users. She even did a cluster analysis and talked about some potential user personas. She talked about the goals for the project. And this would be different in the paper. You would write this out longhand. She talked about the reason that they selected Overdrive for the project, how to measure the success of the project, a timetable for implementation, how to do promotion for the project, integrating it with the bookmobile. She talked about a budget for the project. These were all thumbnail sort of best guesses. She talked about the personnel in her library that would be involved. Talked about how to make the project sustainable, and then also went into the bibliography of resources. So this is not, I don't think you have to do all of this to get an A. I mean, if you're in the class to, if you really want to get an A, you don't have to go through this level of detail. But I wanted to show you an exemplary paper in order to give you some ideas. I don't want to even keep that up because I don't want you to exactly sort of think that that's the format for the proposal, but you give a paper, you write a paper that somebody would read, and then at the end of the class you excerpt that and turn it into a persuasive presentation. That's sort of the key core of the class right there. Somebody have any questions about that? I don't want to dwell on that particular presentation, but it gives you an idea of the kind of emerging technology proposal that we're looking for. Okay, Lori, that's pretty much my portion wrapped up. My full seminar overview is going to be happening, like I said, on October the 19th at 6 p.m. each of our seminars is worth half the grade for the course. Lori's focusing on the paper, I'm focusing on the presentations. We're both doing collections, and we're both doing discussion.
That's great, Jeremy. Thanks. And again, on Thursday morning, we'll kick off the discussion in Seminar 1. And I have notes here. I'm going to give you examples of the citations you'll create for the wiki. I'm going to set up discussion boards for each group so that you can talk among yourselves. I'll update the reading list. I'll put up the information for the conferences and extra credit. And if you have any other questions, let me know. We know this is different, but we're hoping it'll be fun and that you'll enjoy the variety and get a lot out of it. And so don't hesitate to ask questions if you're not comfortable with something.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions, or should we wrap it up? Okay, Lori and I were both can connect with us by email, by telephone, in the course, so in instant message, heck. So keep in touch.